Hello there, I'm Glexper. Welcome to the video and my first tutorial. In this video, I'll explain how to install and manage add-ons in BVE 5. BVE stands for Bossoview Express and it's a Japanese train simulator. The first version was created back in the year 2000. Despite its age and simplicity, the physics and sounds still challenge modern train sims, in my opinion. And to this date, the Japanese community still releases content for the game. It's free, and if you are enthusiastic about Japanese railways or just a weeb, you may want to give it a try. This game, however, relies heavily on user-made content, since the official route is very short and only exemplifies the base mechanics of the simulator. Unfortunately, most websites you'll come across to download add-ons can give you an hard time, either because they're all in Japanese or rarely contain all the content you need in the same place. Japanese language pack and region settings. To avoid frustrations down the line with Japanese text not rendering correctly, let's address two things. First, I recommend that you install the Japanese language pack for Windows. However, this does not fix an issue that happens when extracting zip files that were initially compressed with Japanese characters. So, we'll be doing this after. Head over to the Legacy control panel. Go to the clock and region, click on region, and select the administration tab, where it says language for non-Unicode programs. Change this to Japanese and reboot your system. This should prevent a mess of characters when extracting certain files. Downloading and installing the game, it's quite straightforward. Inside the official website, you can toggle between Japanese or English. Head over to the main program page. The main version of the simulator is 5. Recently, version 6 has been released. They are identical. The difference is that BVE 6 is a 64-bit application, which eliminates the RAM limitations that posed issues on BVE 5 when large routes were loaded. The max RAM usage on a 32-bit app varies from 2 to 4 gigs of RAM. So even if you have installed 8, 16, 32 gigs of RAM, the application will run out of memory past the 3 gigs mark in the case of this software. This is mentioned in the official download page. The downside of BVE 6 is that BVE 5 content is no longer supported, and the biggest majority of content is produced, of course, for version 5, so we'll keep with that version for now. But the process for add-on management is the exact same. If you don't have Microsoft Framework or DirectX, download and install those first. After that, download BVE 5.8. Change the directory if you wish to do so, and install the program like any other. Now, a new folder called BVETS can be found inside your Documents folder. Open it. You will find another folder called Scenarios. All downloadable content will be placed here. This includes both routes, trains, and sometimes libraries that routes make use of to render things correctly. Note that the folder can be moved anywhere. Inside the game, you can choose the directory where it reads the files from. Next, let's install the default routes. The GR Tōkyū Line is the latest one. Download the 7-zip package. If you don't have 7-zip, head over to the official page and download it. It's probably the best compression software and it's free. Let's also download the Keisei Line. This particular one can only be installed via the executable file, but it's an exception to the majority of add-ons. That's why I prefer showing the zipped versions when available. Installing the Keisei Line will actually create the scenarios directory for you. So let's install the Tōkyū Line. This is a zip file, and if you open it, you'll find that it's inside the scenarios folder already, so you just drag the contents into your scenarios folder, and that's it. So let's make this in a bit of more unscripted way. It's a bit easier for me to explain it. So folders usually contain like the main route itself, like all the data, all the images, and then there is always a file associated with the exact same name that contains that session in specific. So like a route can have multiple sessions, for example an express train, a local train, a rapid express, whatever. So that's what they are, and if you open them, these can be later edited for your custom needs. For example, you can see that the vehicle directory, it's over here, right? It's inside that folder, and then that's the name of the vehicle itself, that folder, and then here is the .txt that loads the vehicle in the session. But that's for later. Now you will be greeted with this window over here. There's a couple of settings you can mess with. So most commonly the resolution, can have windowed or full screen, can increase the anti-aliasing, and the view distance itself. The assistants are the overlays that will appear in the game. If you want a more realistic approach, you can disable some of these. Simulation, you can leave it or change it if you really want to. Device input, if you have a controller that is supported, can be changed here, and that's all you need to know really. So what will happen likely is that this is my main folder, so let's not bother with that for now. You know that your installation, but the directory where your content is located, it's in this file directory, so that's all you need to place there really. Here we go. So this route is this one, this route, it's that one. Let's give it a go, shall we? Let's ignore this error for now. So, the basic way you control the train is the arrows, forward, backwards, or neutral. So let's click twice, make it forward. The brakes themselves, you can use the comma and the dot keys. So the dot will increase your brake pressure and the comma will reduce your brake pressure. Most modern trains usually don't have a specific brake handle, so you use the throttle for both braking and accelerating. This specific train uses two handles for each thing. So let's reduce the pressure all the way down, and let's press Z to give power to it. So that's notch 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Some trains only go to 4. Actually, you can see that I'm kind of on the limit of the amperage, so like the train keeps going down because I'm pushing too hard for it. Modern trains usually make this consumption like automatic, so you never like reach the limit. A much more smoother ride. Well, on the top left corner you can see the station is approaching at 300 meters or so. Let's start applying some brakes. So I believe this is a 4-car train or so. So let's try to stop on the 4 mark post thingy. It's a very Japanese thing. The idea is not to stop the train with maximum pressure, so that would be a very abrupt stop. You want to like start easing off as you get closer. More or less like that.
That's quite big.
So that's the gist of it, really. And you can drag these panels around if you want to. But yeah, I think that exemplifies for now. Let's keep going then. So now this is like the bonus part of the video. So one of the users asked for a tutorial on this line, so that's kind of the reason I'm doing this. But really, like, this line is pretty neat on the game. So it's really a great example to explain how a more common download and installation works. So I'm gonna translate this to English to make it easier for the Western audience, and we're gonna focus on three things. So the route data, which is the main thing, the sounds, which is a complement, and the main train developed specifically for this route, which is the 5050 series, and it has 10 cars. There's also an 8 cars variant of this train, but it's not directly supported, and you may have to fiddle with files a bit more. It's nothing hard, but for now let's keep things simple. Here is a base explanation of how the directory structure works. It's not complex, but if you are not familiar how it works, then it might be a bit weird. So download the main route data. It redirects you to a OneDrive to the OneDrive cloud service, and just download the file there. Same for the sum. Now the train is the exception, because the train was made by a different author. So click that and you'll be greeted with the main page of that user, and you can see the reason why direct links are usually not very common. It's because of this, right? Most Japanese content creators for this game don't like that other people link directly to their files. They usually like that you visit their landing page first. But we already know what you want. Especially if you translate the page, you can already see there the Tōyoko Line, right? ATS, by the way, it's the security system. There is a bunch of security systems depending on the railway company in Japan. So head over here and you can see that if you scroll down, this pops right up, right? BVE 5, and that's what you want. That's the 5050 series with 10 cars. So let's download that. Okay, so on the left we have the files we have downloaded. Here's the route, here's the sounds, and here's the train. So let's start with the route, open it. You can see that the author already placed the scenarios folder, so we know that what's here should be in here. And wait until it finally transfers it. Keep in mind that these files are usually not very big in size. However, it's a lot of little files. That's why it takes sometimes quite a bit to extract them and transfer them. Okay, great. Now let's add the remaining sounds. Over here, and over here, and just replace the folder. Great. Now let's go to the train itself. So let's focus on the 10 car variant. You can see here, so these are the sessions. This is the length of the train car, and this is the number of cars. So let's focus on these ones here, because it's what matches this. Now usually what we're going to do is we drag this and put it there. However, there's an exception to this train, because the directory it's not accurate. If you open this file here, you can see that the directory for it starts with the name of the author, right? Not the train itself. So this is creating it's just not gonna find it. So let's make how the file is presented on the txt, and type the name of the author, put the train in there, and now this structure tree matches that, right? When you can't load trains, always double check this. It's like the most common cause. Great, so let's launch the game and see if it's there. As you can see, here we have the routes, right? Some are express, some are locals, and we have both the 8-car variant and the 10-car. Okay, so this is the train I've used on my Tōkyū Tōyoko Line video. It's the 50070 series. I really like this train because it's very high quality, basically. It belongs to a different railway company, and it's made by a different author. So if you scroll down, you can see Don Rudo over there. So it's quite obvious. So open it, and again, scenarios, and put in the root directory of scenarios. And so we have these sessions already created. Now let's pick one of these 10-car variants. I think this is the express one. Let's copy that, duplicate I mean, give the proper designation of the train so we don't get lost. So 50070, open that. Also copy the actual name for organization's sake. And now put the correct directory. So in this case it's Verta. Put that in. Same here. And make sure it also says vehicle and not something different like _0 or a 10-car, whatever. Okay, so it matches. Okay, so we can look for it and you can see 50070. Press that. And there we go. Shiny new train. Same route. Well, since I'm at it, I'm gonna show you how to install yet another train. So this is the Seibu, the 6000 series, and it's another railway company that also operates on the Tōyoko Line. And you can see very pleasant site with a very obvious download button. Let's get that. We have downloaded, and just like the other one, let's drag the folder into the root folder of scenarios. And you probably guessed already what you're going to do. So let's duplicate that, the one we did previously, call it the 6000. Let's change to the correct name for OCD purposes and organization. So you can copy the names, so make sure you don't misspell anything. And here, as you can see, it's not vehicle this time. This time there's different numbers. However, this is not related to the number of cars. This has to do with the engine sounds. I mean, engine sound is like a very big niche in Japan. There is videos just all about that, so it's kind of random. It's up to you, really. There's also a way to randomize, to make multiple, so that when you load the route, it can be any of these. But let's make things simple and just make it 0. Right, save that. And when you launch the game, it should be there. So let's see the 6000 series right over here. Let's load that. Okay, so I'll explain in a bit more detail how you operate the Tōkyū Tōyoko Line trains. This applies to all of the trains that run on this line. So, first of all, you're gonna press the 5 key that enables the ATC system. Press the 7, and this is the setting that works on this route because these trains travel on different sections of track with different security systems, and this is the one that works on this one. After that, press forward on the up arrow key and release the brake once. So to release the brake, you press Z. So this is a combined throttle. If you press Z, we decrease the brakes, and eventually you start accelerating. If you press Q, you brake the train, and if you press A, it will neutralize the train. So if I hold A, it will just make it neutral. Or you can make it manually. So let's brake, or you can release the pressure manually until it reaches neutral, and then you start accelerating. Not sure if you noticed, but there was a small buzzer before. So even if you are clear to go, the signal is green. You shouldn't depart immediately. You should wait for a small buzzer, which is the conductor that is on the last car. That checks all the doors and if no one is trapped or something. And when it's safe, they press the buzzer, and that's when you should proceed. So let's hit 0 to turn on the lines. So on this route there is no signals, physical signals on the route. It's all in cab monitoring system. So when you hear 2 beeps, it means there will be a decrease in speed. So I'm gonna stop at the next station just to make a full starting and stopping. This is an express train, so for example, you can see here that on the next stop we are not stopping, right? You can see there, next in 300 meters we're not stopping here, so keep going. The horn is on the enter key. Some trains have 2 tones, so you can press the plus key, I think. This one just has 1, so ignore it. There's the plus key on your numpad, it's the secondary horn. So there's a small beep, it will be reducing speed. When it beeps again, it means that the monitoring for speed reduction turned off again. So remember, this is a 10 car train, so we'll be stopping on the 10 mark. Start braking at around, when you get in the platform, usually at around 60 or 50 kilometers, and apply between 4 to 6 brake pressure. In this case, we'll stop at the end of the platform. And start reducing pressure, so it's a smooth stop. Actually, we have 2 on here. I usually like to look at this one, but sometimes it's not super accurate. It's good enough. So once you stop, the conductor on the back part of the train will open the doors for you. Also, this one has this neat feature which emulates the cameras on the station. Also, it has a nice LCD panel which can show you which doors are open. You can see that they're closing now. You You're all closed. The train can go, but wait for the buzzer. That's the buzzer. Now release the brakes and apply power. So this is an example why it's good to use the A key. So if you go to maximum, you have to like manually press until it reaches neutral. But if you press A, it goes immediately there. So let's increase our speed now, since the restriction is lifted. You can see that we are not stopping on the next station, so let's keep going. Okay, so we'll be stopping on the next station. Let's cut off the power. So our idea is to get in the station at around 60 or so kilometers. There's also these signs here, which are indications for brake application. Okay, 60 kilometers an hour. Reduce to notch 5 or so. 40, reduce to notch 4. Keep it steady, sometimes you have to apply a bit more. So this is the thing that it's really fun about these games. Like practicing how much you need to stop. And there we go. So that's my basic explanation for the Tōkyū Tōyoko Line. And have fun. That's basically it. Let's go to the next station. Might as well. This is a more high-speed section, and there will be an area where the reduction seems really inconsistent, but you can kind of predict where the speed restriction starts and stops. So right now let's go full throttle, since there is no warning. So 110 kilometers per hour, get the power. We are not stopping at the next station. And soon the speed restriction will start going off. So the moment you hear the beep, start reducing your power, but don't go too hard. There we go. So at around notch 3 or 4, keep it there. While the orange light is blinking, the speed control is still active. This is measuring how far the next red signal is, basically. Okay, let's keep going. Reducing more. If you stay too long above this value, it will apply the brakes until you reach the correct speed. Okay, right there it applied the brakes for me. I didn't put on notch 4, it was the security system, because I was already above it. So sometimes it's subtle, but it's there. So be careful on these stopping sections. If you go too fast, then it's gonna apply the emergency brakes. Okay, there we go. There we go.